Hey there, everybody. So, this morning we got some news that I don't think anyone was expecting to get
Nope, I wasn't. I
at
was
this
having
point.
my coffee, and now here we are.
Yeah, it's earlier than usual that we record, but it's also something where if they're going to announce the next Bachelor bright and early on a Friday in the summer, we gotta talk about it.
And that it's someone that we haven't actually seen on the show. That's new.
So we'll take you through the announcement that Matt James is now officially the next Bachelor, even though we don't know when the next season of The Bachelorette is even gonna happen. We'll
Yep.
try to give you a sense of who he is for those of you who haven't heard about him, whether or not he's a good choice. But before we dive into this, if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We will have more updates on all things Bachelor Nation, though I don't anticipate a ton over the next few weeks, but I didn't anticipate this either.
Yeah, no, I am really surprised that they went in a direction of not bringing back somebody, because that has been sort of the pattern of the show. Is, we haven't even seen Claire's season. Claire's season is not even filmed yet. We don't know anybody who's really on it at this point, but Matt was supposed to be part of that cast, and I don't know what that means for that now. It hasn't been clear that he's no longer part of the cast, but I would think that if he's actually going to be the Bachelor now, they're not going to ruin his journey on Claire's season. So I would assume he's not on it.
Yeah, I think we can say 99.9% that Matt James is no longer going to be on Claire's season. And they said in various interviews that they were going to use this time that Claire's season was already supposed to be filmed at this point.
Yeah.
But they're going to use this time now to try to cast people who are closer or to her own age and maybe a little bit more appropriate for her and her journey. So maybe this is just sort of an interesting consequence to all of that. But I think the obvious thing that's going on here is we've seen a real push over the past couple weeks, in particular when it comes to celebrating more voices, in particular celebrating more black voices in media and entertainment. The Bachelor has come under fire, deservedly so, by the way,
Yeah.
for having one black lead through all of their franchise.
Yeah.
And Rachel Lindsay, they've never had a black male Bachelor, despite them having a number of good candidates. Do we need to go back to Markel?
Love Markel. Yeah, no, oh man, I remember when I first saw Markel, I thought he was a shoe-in to be the next Bachelor.
Yeah.
And yeah, this franchise has really overlooked having a black Bachelor for so long for no reason. So, I mean, I'm excited that they have finally brought on a black Bachelor. I wish I knew a little bit more about him. I mean, we know what we know from his interaction with Claire and about social media. But I don't really know anything about him, because like I said, this is one of the first times in a while that they haven't pulled somebody who the audience has already gotten to know and gotten to like and want to root for. This is brand new.
The first thing I feel about this is that I like the fact that we have Matt as the Bachelor. From what little I know about him, I think he's going to be an interesting choice. I don't like how production and ABC have really handled this, because there has been a lot of criticism out there for the past couple weeks about everything, their lack of diversity, how they should be handling this. And instead of getting, statements from important people associated with the franchise, whether it be Chris Harrison, whether it be producers, instead, all of a sudden, we're just now getting an announcement. And yes, it's great that Matt is going to be the next Bachelor, but I wanted to see more of their process along the way, rather than, okay, we've been silent and or quiet all this time, okay, here is your first black Bachelor now. It feels like they could have had more of a genuine road to this than what we ultimately got.
Yeah, that's sort of what it feels like is going on. And I mean, they should have had a black Bachelor a long time ago. There was no reason for this not to happen before. but it does feel like they need to have spoken out before about everything that's going on in the world right now, and they haven't. They've been silent, and now they've announced that they have their first Black Bachelor, and while that is great and I'm really excited about that, they still need to speak out. I'm still holding them, responsible for not speaking out, and especially now that they do have a Black Bachelor. Chris Harrison, I would like to hear from you. I would like to hear from somebody from the network. Like, why is everybody not talking?
Yeah, the biggest thing that we've gotten is mostly just everything with this announcement this morning, which includes a statement from ABC's own president, but it's sort of like, okay, well, that's sort of boilerplate stuff. That's something you would do for almost any lead, but we'll get into a little bit about what we know about Matt James, because his biggest claim to fame on social media has mostly just been that he is a really, really close friend, potentially even the best friend of Tyler Cameron, who is probably America's favorite Bachelor contestant, I think, overall at this point.
Yeah, probably.
He seems like he seems like a nice guy. He has an initiative called ABC Food Tours where he gives back to a lot of families and communities, and so he's got that sort of side of him where he's looking out for other people. It's an admirable quality. He seems to be pretty into fitness, so that always is a requirement to all things Bachelor Nation.
Of course, they always want their bachelors to be shirtless. He's a very handsome guy, so I mean, that's gonna obviously play well. I mean, they're all good looking. This is The Bachelor, so this is what it is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that's the inevitability with it, and it seems like he's a smart guy. It seems like he has he's got a lot of interesting qualities I've seen from social media. He's got a good sense of humor, and I think he will bring a lot to the table. It's still an interesting choice because, like we've said, we haven't seen him on the show, and just kind of alluded to this earlier where there was some controversy regarding him and Claire, where Claire had posted something talking about people who were on her season, and she wanted them to be there for her and not doing cameos or not doing anything else.
Yeah, and I feel like you can do both. And that controversy that came out was really landed badly for Claire in a lot of ways, which I get where she was coming from. She's trying to be like, you need to be here for the right reason. You need to not be on here for cameos or on here for your social media. But let's be honest and just strip away that for a second. Everybody is there for their fame and their cameos and their Instagram and the sell us a FabFit box. That is part of this Bachelor culture now that we have all just come to accept, that you go on The Bachelor and then you go on Instagram and you do sponsorships. It is part of it now, and it has been for a really long time. And I think that it's kind of unfair for anyone to say, oh, if you're looking for Instagram followers, don't come on the show, because the honest truth of it is you can want both. Nobody's going on TV only to find love. You don't have to go on TV for that. If you're going on TV, you're going on TV for fame as well as love. And it is okay to want both, to want to go on and fall in love with Claire and also later sell us a FabFit box. Like, why is that not all right?
It's more than all right. It's going to irritate me if you do it because I've seen too many of them and I get annoyed by it. But Claire, I think she came out later and said she wasn't specifically just talking about Matt, but it's just, he's the obvious person. He was a known name before he was cast on Claire's season. And if you're going to post something like that, and I know that Matt has been involved at least in some cameo stuff, I think with Tyler, everyone is going to think you're talking about Matt. And it's just ultimately, Claire, I know she was on Juan Pablo's season first. That was kind of a time before Instagram influencer culture really blew up. But I think she's got to get it. She wanted to be famous when she was on The Bachelor. Everybody. Yeah, everybody wants to be famous. I don't care if Matt James is doing cameos. I don't care if Matt James has, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers. I just care that he is a likable person on his season and that he doesn't act like Juan Pablo, or he doesn't just make me want to lose my mind like Peter. I just want him to be a good bachelor and maybe give us a chance at some sort of love story that does not involve Barb scowling during the after the final rose.
I think him having a big social following can actually help the show, because then you're not running into situations where you don't know what's going on with him publicly. You kind of already have an idea of how he handles social media. And when you are talking about The Bachelor, where everybody goes onto social media afterwards, you want to know that they're going to be able to handle it right. And we don't know anything about him except his social media. And what I get from him is that he's a nice guy. He's a good looking guy. He is a guy who's giving back. That's what you want. And if he already has the social media following, then we already know that this is the type of man that is going to be coming onto the show, at least on the surface. And that's a good start.
Yeah, if you're not going to cast someone who has been on the franchise, at least it's somebody who people are aware of. I'm still surprised they didn't go with Mike, because I just felt like he was already on the show. He already had a fan base. Hannah's season was very popular at the time that it was on. But ultimately, this is where we are, and we're going to be waiting a while. Let's be realistic here. Maybe Claire's season airs in the fall. Maybe. I still don't know exactly how they're going to film that.
Yeah, I mean, all of this is... I'm legit shocked that I woke up to this information now in June 12th. All of a sudden we're getting, who is the Bachelor with no Bachelorette season showing. Nothing is happening. And that it isn't someone like Mike or Markel or someone that we've all seen and we're all like, yeah, man, we'll watch Mike all day. Yeah. But so, yeah, it's very strange. I'm still kind of like, what?
Yeah, I'm blown away by the timing of it. Maybe it'll air early next year. That tends to be when it happens, but we got to see what's going on with filming. We got to see what's going on with casting. Maybe the announcement of this will help them find a diverse cast, which will be interesting and different for the show.
Yeah, I mean, I still think we're even going to be waiting a little while on Claire's season. I mean, today is June 12th, and in California, they've opened up today production that people can go back, but there are some rules that are going with it.
Yeah, and the biggest one, and that's gonna, I think, have an impact on The Bachelor, is they're very discouraging of kissing, intimate moments.
Yeah.
Granted, you could, lock these people away for a while and test them and all that if they're not ever going to be leaving this contained environment, but still,
there's a higher risk right now with everything that's going on. So
yeah, well, we'll see how things go with Claire's season. But for now, what do you guys think about Matt James being the Bachelor? Let us know in the comments. And if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store. And we'll see you here next time.